right, everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Aman Merchant. I'm the Chief Optimizer at Epic 360, and I'm delighted to be hosting our first ever Epic Thursday show with someone who I'm very excited to be hosting it with, Orlando Tardeli. We'll go into who he is and what's his backstory, but just to give you a bit of perspective on what is Epic Thursdays, because we're doing it for the first time. So think of this as a mashup between a TED Talk and a rapid fire workshop at the same time, right? In 20 minutes, our goal is to get you into the minds of, let's say, the movers and shakers and the sort of creative thinkers when it comes to wellness, longevity, and biohacking, peak performance and optimization. That's our goal. How can we get your mental and physical performance to that next level? So Orlando is our partner in crime today. He lives in Dubai, and he's been here for nearly 9 years. He is
for 8 months. Sorry.
Oh, oops, 8 months. Well, you will get to 9 years then. That must have been a typo. All right, there you go. TV bloopers, but we're still recording this. That's a part of life. So anyways, he's been here for a short while, but he is a kind of part of the coaching setup at the UAE National Jiu-Jitsu team. He will talk about the work that he's doing there. But we'll get right into it because we only have 20 minutes. So I want to make sure that we kind of get the maximum out of Orlando as we can. So Orlando, tell us a bit about yourself. I know that you're from Brazil in Sao Paulo. Tell us what got you to Dubai or got you to the UAE, and why are you doing what you're doing? Because you're into sort of this biohacking geeking yourself as well.
Thank you. Oh, hello, everybody. Thank you, Aman, for the opportunity. My name is Orlando. I'm from Brazil, 28 years old. I have a background in I'm a bachelor in physical education, a martial arts practitioner, and a founder of BioMonkey. My working here, I come to Dubai to work as a biohacker coach, but I have the opportunity to train the national team, the Jiu-Jitsu national team. Also as well, I would like to say thank you very much for Bob from Binyasana Club and also Hibamar from Al Hasta Club. They give me the opportunity to work with their athletes, and honestly, it was an amazing experience.
Wow. And you've been working with them on what aspect of their coaching, provided it's not very secret and confidential? What are you helping them with to kind of get to that next level of performance?
Biohacking techniques, working with the 4 pillars of Biomonki. That's my brand. So our training was based in 4 pillars: exercise, nutrition, mindset, and recovery. And was like with a holistic approach and very specialized for each athlete what they need. And the results was amazing.
So we'll get there to those 4 tips, because that's our, I guess, focus for today. What are those 4 areas and hacks that you can sort of equip the entrepreneurs and, the high-minded achievers that are looking to kind of upgrade their performance? But tell us, so what's BioMonkey? I think you were telling me earlier today that you had what does BioMonkey come from? What's the root or the history of the name itself?
BioMonkey is it's the brand, that's my brand, that studies and works on how to improve human performance and achieve motor longevity in a holistic way. Our mission is to live long with a biological and functional age in good conditions, to do exercise and physical labor until the last day on planet Earth. Is to live longer, but live health.
So you spoke to me earlier, when we spoke earlier, Orlando, you spoke about this whole idea of helping people live, not just cognitively, but also physically perform to the age of 100. I think that was your vision and your, I guess, grand energy, your ambition to help people there. So let's talk a bit about because I know that you're a student of the science behind performance itself. So you've done a bachelor's, you're pursuing some other experiments. We talk about those experiments later from your biohacking universe. But by the way, this show is uncensored. You can tell us anything you want that you're doing, and it's great because at least people will hear what you're kind of up to behind the scenes. But I think before we get there, you spoke of the fact that you did some research, I think, and you looked at nutrition, you looked at various stuff. Tell us a bit about the nutritional research that you did there.
So I say the nutrition research starts around 7 years ago. That, by the way, I'm right now I am on an experiment of a plant-based diet. So I start with today I don't eat any animal product. It's been for 7 years, but I always say that it's experiment. Probably in the future, I might go back to eat animal meat. But the point was a correlation I made with the studies on the blue zone, that's all the centenaries around the planet Earth. And they have a really good thing in common. That is all of them, they have less consumption of animal products. And this was like a kickstart. So then I start researching and what's the benefits of the plant-based diet, the vegetarian, and how they eat, because it's a huge universe.
So when you say from a vegan nutrition perspective, because that's one of your key areas of interest and focus as well, right? I think you've done a YouTube series on nutrition as well, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes.
It's kind of just started to come out. So tell us, I mean, this show is all about giving people actionable tips so they can get into motion the very next hour if they have to. So from a nutritional perspective, what were your biggest insights that someone could start applying pretty quickly?
My nutrition insight, it's focus on variety. Before you start to count your macros and your micros and weight in the food, try to explore the variety of the plant-based diet. Also, in my nutrition hack series on YouTube, I talk about the different ways that you can feed yourself, not only food. So this week I post a video about the air, the importance of the air, and how the air shapes our macronutrients and our ecosystem.
So when you say air, is that like the kind of air you breathe? Is that the quality of the environment? Is that what you're referring to at that time?
It's a reflection about, I'm gonna say a funny thing. No, a question actually. Do you know the tree or any vegetables? Do you know where the mass of the tree come from?
The mass of the actual tree itself?
Yes.
Okay, is this a trivia question? Is that the root? Is that the strongest part?
No, my question is the mass of the tree, where this come from? From the dirt, from the water, from the minerals?
Oh, okay. I don't know, to be honest. I should say probably, what is it?
95% of the mass of the tree come from the air.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that's pretty incredible, right? And with the amazing phenomenon of photosynthesis, where the plant kingdom catch the light of the sun, with the air, he synthesizes macronutrients as the protein, carbohydrate, fat, and it's all made of air, and then we consume as well, and then we recycle. This is one part. And then the other part, it's the process of breathing, how the process of breathing interact with our autonomic nervous system. And then it's a long topic.
And that's a whole science there. So let's talk about those 4 pillars that you have, right? You've started talking about the pillar of nutrition to an extent. Let's talk about exercise, because I think you are quite big on minimum effective dose exercise. So let's talk a bit about that. As what do you see could be something that you've learned from your research and from an experimental perspective kind of makes a lot of sense and improves your performance?
The minimum dose, it's a concept of the minimum effective dose actually comes from the concept of pharmacology. That's to know how much of a certain drug or medication is necessary to make a biological response in a patient. But also there's another concept as the Tim Ferriss, I think everybody knows him from the book 4 Hours Body. He said that the small dose that will produce the desired outcome. I came to this idea actually with the study from the American College of Sport Medicine. It's a guideline from 2012. And they made a guideline for the exercise to develop and maintain cardiovascular and musculoskeletal and neuromuscular fitness. How much of the dose of exercise you have to receive for a week. And there they say that's 150 minutes of moderate intensity and 75 of vigorous intensity. So if you divide those, an example, if you divide those 150 minutes a week for 7 days, you have 20 minutes a day of exercise. So this is the minimum exercise dose you have to have some impact on your physiology as your whole body. And this is everything you need. As I always say, more than that, you're winning.
So when you look at the 15-20 minutes per day, what would you sort of suggest be the essential pillars of these 15-20 minutes? So let's say if I'm asking you for an exercise protocol regime, what would you recommend I kind of include in those 15-20 minutes?
First, depends for each person, but the simple the better. It's any exercise that you can do with your own body weight, and if you have some extra equipment as well. But the most important is to have time of the contraction, because a funny or an interesting topic, your muscle, the function of the muscle, it's not only to contract, to make movement or to warm it up your body. The muscle is an endocrinal organ. It produces hormones, and one of the hormones is the myosin. And those myosins, they have a big impact on your immune system as anti-inflammatory response, and also in your neural system. So my idea is simple exercise, air squats, push up, something that you hang. It's very good as well. I also did a blog about this. I gave the suggestion of the variability. So one day you can do those types of exercise body weight, and another day run. You can run or any cyclic movement, but 20 minutes.
20 minutes. So if you stick to 20, do you have any recovery time in the middle as well? Because I think in your 4 ideas that you talk about, recovery is also one key part of it, right? So what's your philosophy behind the recovery of things?
The recovery, okay, funny aspect as well. When I was in college, on the middle of the college, I start another course as chiropractor. So as well, I'm a chiropractor, and I add this in my work. So recovery for the 20 minutes, the minimum dose, it's around 1 minute and 2 minutes. Remember, okay, the train must be moderate intensity. So the idea is not to be exhausted and go into the fatigue. Depends. If the goal is to do that, great. But the minimum dose, the base, is a moderate intensity exercise. And the recovery, an example with the national team that I work. Aman, I'm going to share one thing with you guys. One of my mentors, he told me once, the champion, you don't need to motivate. The champion, you need to unmotivate. So all the kids, they're so excited to train and they're so good, and the coaches do such a great job. They want to train. But performance is not about how hard you train. It's how quick you can recover to train again. So recovery plays an important part in sports performance, and even in life, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there is this, whole idea that I've been geeking out of. If that the science behind flow state, getting into the zone, you've got the 4 sort of, cycles there that, you start with this idea of struggling, and then you go to release, and then you go to flow, and then there's a recovery side. And most people forget the recovery side. They want to go back into performing, which means that they haven't given enough downtime, correct? So, I mean, and your neurochemicals that, the oxytocin that you need, for example, to kind of get that serotonin that you need to get your body back calmed again is not being produced because you're going back to production of dopamine or whatever other stress chemicals you want afterwards.
Yes, you're completely right. One process of our biohacking program with the national team was to start now going to another pillar about the mindset. One of our key training was about meditation and breathing exercise. So first, in the beginning, we always, I bring the awareness of the proper way to breathe and different exercise to breathe. And then we start implementing meditation.
And what kind of meditation work do you do? Is it like simple breath work? Is it something else that you're doing? What's kind of your energy around?
We guide, there's millions ways of meditation, but the simple one is to bring body awareness. So it was more of a guide meditation to bring attention for certain parts of the body. And our mission as well of the meditation was to control your heart rate. Because, oh, sorry.
No, I was going to, my brain is moving faster than my words sometimes. So go for it.
So, yeah. So as well, see the training to enter in a high performance state, in a human performance, it's not about training. It's, as I say, it's a holistic way. So you have to catch it up different aspects. And that's why I believe that the Biomonki did a very good job with those athletes.
So I want to kind of talk about you talk about breath work. So in your mind, what's the breath rate or breathing rate that you would ideally, or the heart rate rather, you would want a very high performing athlete, or even if it's an entrepreneur, let's say, who's kind of really, hustling during the day, working very hard, deadlines, pressure, etc. What's the heart rate you would suggest that they try to bring it down to through some way, whether it's through breathing techniques or otherwise, so that they feel that they've recovered well enough before they go back into high intensity activities?
Okay, so I invite you that watching the video to try to make the experiment. You can have any type of device, but what the medicine say that an average of heart rate per minute is between 60 to 70 stroke per minute. An athlete in rest mode, it's below that. So when you, question for you, I mean, when you wake up in the morning, how much is your heart rate?
Between 55 to 65.
Great. Yes, with meditation, you can decrease that between 40 and 50. And even I did some research as well, some triathlon that they practice, some breathing exercise, go below 40. But going back to your question of, okay, so you have a stressful situation and you feel that you're not connected anymore with the present. The best way, find a posture, or it doesn't matter where you are. Inhale by your nose, but the time of your exhale must be the double of your inhale. So an example, if you breathe in 3 seconds, you inhale, your exhale must be in 6 seconds. So what this does, when your exhale is longer than your inhale, you stimulate your autonomic nervous system, but the parasympathetic tone that makes you what? You decrease your heart rate, you relax, then you boom, you're in the moment again.
Well, there's a great book. I don't know whether you read it. It's called, Breathe, the science that are the new science of a lost art. It's written by a guy called James Nestor. It's a brilliant book. He looked at various breathing practices that have been forgotten for many years. And one of the things he talks about is that through his research, he discovered that the average heart rate, number of breaths per minute, if you can bring it down to 6 per minute and keep it at that, even during the course of the day, he's like, the how long you live is not a function of the number of years that you live, but the number of breaths you have, right? So what he's trying to say is that if you can actually slow down your breathing, you're actually prolonging your lifespan anyway, because you're giving your heart less work to do. So it's a pretty interesting, discovery there, and I was quite interested to kind of explore that from a practical perspective as well. So coming into our last segment, I want to leave the audience with actionable tips that you suggest, 3 things that you think they can start implementing right away, whether it's around the notion of recovery, whether it's the notion of, the actual exercise itself, whether it's nutrition, or whether it's mindset. I mean, I'll let you pick 3 things, and then we'll close off with a challenge that maybe you can set the audience and see if they can live up to that challenge. And, whether the jiu-jitsu coach challenge, let's call it that. But for now, let's start with the 3 things that you would suggest are ones that you can leave the audience with.
So the first one, I want to hook with the idea you brought. Bring your attention for your breath. This sounds so simple, but one thing of some old students, what I used to do, I used to tell them to write breathe on the wrist. So all the time in the day, they look, they breathe. on the end of the day, they message me, Orlando, that's crazy. I was doing something else. I read the breathe, boom. I noticed that in the day, I was more focused. I was like, that's great. So the first one, bring the attention to your breath. Doing that, you can write down or make some notes. That will be a very cool biohacking experiment.
Okay.
The second one, it's the minimum exercise dose for 1 week. If you want to have some more insights, I think if you can leave I write a blog about this.
Share the links, right,
yes,
on the minimum effective dose. Perfect. Okay, so we have people experiment with that. All right, what about the third one?
And the third one, guys, as a biohackers, you have to collect data. So start a diary. Do you have a diary, Amin?
Oh yeah, I do, every day.
Nice, me too. Do you think that people are watching us, do they have a diary or not?
Well, I hope they do. If they don't, they should have one. I think it's a good reflection. It helps us, think deeper into ourselves, understand what we are doing, what we are learning, and not just living through life or coasting through life. So absolutely.
With the diary, man, the diary is like a psychologist. Your own psychologist is always there. You can implement some techniques of NLP. You can do even some coaching exercise with yourself, set it up your goals. You can make the review of the last day, next day. You can practice even exercise of gratitude. And this is life-changing.
So I don't want to finish before I have you share a teaser of this interesting experiment you're doing on yourself, which finishes this Saturday, the self-chemotherapy. Now, whether it's legit or not, I will not discuss that, but I will just say as a biohacker, you're doing something quite interesting. So tell us in, let's say, 1 minute or so, this experiment that you've been doing for the past few, I think, weeks.
All right, I'm doing an experiment about, it's called self-chemotherapy. It's a treatment you do with your own blood. Basically, in theory, they say that you increase your immune system to 5 times above because you stimulate your bone marrow to produce blood cells. So with that, you can increase your immune system cells and also your red blood cells. So this works as well to increase your resistance and also your cardiovascular resistance. I'm in the middle of my case study. So I'm still collecting the CVCs and doing all the tests. But when finished, I will be more than glad to share you guys the results.
All right, look forward to it. So look, Orlando has been brilliant. The 20 minutes have flown past. I've not even sort of seen what's going on. What would be one thing you could offer the audience that's watching or that could watch later when we do the replays, something that they can connect with you? I think just share with us your handles. You know, what are the handles people can connect with you if they need some more information about what the work you do, and something that you can give them as a gift, I would say, that would be useful for them to, I guess, feel that, yes, we want to kind of reach out to Orlando because this is a gift in waiting for us.
So guys, as Aman said before, I just started my nutrition hack series on my channel. So it's BioMonkey on YouTube and as well on my website. So in every video I post on the channel, I have a PDF in the description that I give practical guides. So watch the video, you go to the description, you download the PDF. There you have like a game plan to start practicing right away.
All right, amazing. So final words, Orlando, for our session today. So if you were to set a challenge for the audience, a 7-day challenge that if they do, it will change their lives. It will improve their performance to the next level in ways that they may not have imagined. What's that 7-day challenge you will set them?
The white belt would be awareness of your breath. But if you really want to challenge yourself and become a black belt in 7 days, 5 minutes of meditation every day.
Ooh, okay. 5 times 7. And if they want to go beyond the black belt, so let's say the ultra black belt, someone who said, you know what, this is still easy. I'm going to course this 5 minutes. I kind of am the breathwork master. What would you kind of challenge them at? Because maybe they are sort of really passionate breathwork experts here or meditation gurus on the call. So what would you say would be that next level of performance for someone who has kind of done the things that you've already said from white and black?
2 things. 1, double 10 minutes. And the second one, keep watching the 360 series that I hope that I know that there is going to have like a lot of biohackers and some awesome insights for you guys.
All right. Look, guys, wonderful to have everyone. This has been an interesting experience for me as well, doing a live for the first time on Facebook for Epic 360. Our whole focus is on helping everyone optimize their physical and mental performance so they can take their ambitions to a higher level without kind of working themselves down to the ground. Because there's so many secrets that are out there with experts, and we want to have experts like Orlando share them with the wider world. So it's not just with the Jiu-Jitsu team, for example, it's actually with the wider community, and they can implement that on demand. So again, Orlando, thanks for being with us today. And I look forward to staying connected with you and seeing what else your work is going to lead to you. And everyone else, time out. See you guys.
Thank you very much, guys.